say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it, this is where it goes down. I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it.
I never took a straight path nowhere. Life's full of twists and turns, bumps and bruises. I live, I learn. I'm from that city full of yellow cabs and skyscrapers. It's hard to get a start in these parts without paper. Homie, I grew up in hell, a block away from heaven.
That corner age, 15 minutes to move to 7. Pure snow, bag it, don't watch it go. Observational options, get some flow or some more. Shoot the bullets.
What's going on, cigar world? What's going on, cigar enthusiasts? You already know who it is. It's Jack the Cigar Enthusiast, and I'm back with another video. With that being said, man, I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope everybody is ready for this electrifying interview that's about to go down, man. I got some great questions for Boofy himself, and he need to come see the congregation a little bit. With that being said, man, I hope everybody is doing great on this Sunday. I hope you're not a cowgirl fan, because it's not looking too good for y'all. But anyway, man, you already know this is this virtual smoke deck where we are bringing the most exclusive content to your screen over a cigar, talking business, talking history, talking everything, and we're bringing it here. So if this is your first time tuning in to the virtual smoke deck, my name is Jack the Cigar Enthusiast, man. Owner of Dapper D Cigars. You see it all over the place. And we're here to have a good time, man. We definitely do, fellowship on some great things. And I'm interested in and actually just enthusiastic about what's about to happen tonight, man. We do got a couple of things on the agenda before we go ahead and introduce Matt. Everybody I know is already looking forward to me talking to him and have questions for him. If you're new to the channel, man, and you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. I mean that like button, as well as turn on that notification bell. If you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and hit that share button, hit that like button, man. Get everybody in here, man. This is an interview that needs to be on prime time, Facebook, YouTube, everything. This man deserves it. He's a legend. And awesome. Hey, as always, man, I got a couple people tuning in. Shout out to Al, man. Always a great supporter of the virtual smoke deck, man. It's Boofy time, he said. Couple things that we need to get into before we bring Matt on. So, if you don't know, I've mentioned this several times through the upcoming weeks. We have a Facebook group called Dapper D Cigars. And what it is just a Facebook group that brings together brothers and sisters of the leaf and really focus on the social aspect. Actually, being at a fellowship over the love of leaf, not none of that high school stuff and all this. Man, we are brothers and sisters of the leaf, and we love each other as such. But today was a big accomplishment for us because we've been working on a goal since we opened up. Actually started this Facebook group, I think not even a month ago, to get to our first milestone. Our first milestone was 500 members, and we hit that today. So if you're not familiar with that giveaway, we did a giveaway, man, where I was going to put up 6 personal cigars, and then I had another member, shout out to Al, for matching it. So we're giving away 12 free cigars, and the winner comes up now. Man, shout out to Arminius Patterson, man. That guy had the most accepted invites with 91 invites, man. So if you're not a member of the Dapper D Cigar group, man, go ahead and join that group. Again, you won't be disappointed. Obviously, we are a brick and mortar. We are a retail location, but do not feel obligated to shop with us. Feel free to shop wherever it is that you want. But with that being said, man, it's enough of me and these introductions and stuff like that. It's time to get to the real main event. It's time to get to our special guest. Everybody knows him. He's a legend. He's the person person in charge of making these phenomenal cigars, Matt Boofy Boo. What's up, champ?
What's happening?
Man,
How are you,
nothing
man?
nothing much. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Man,
Very
no
much
problem.
appreciated.
Hey, you know what, Matt? When I reached out to you, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not expect you to say yes. But I tell you, when you did say yes, it lit up my face. It made me happy. You want to know why? Because in this industry, if you don't know Matt Booth, then you're doing something wrong. You're not smoking enough cigars. You're not in nobody's humidor. You're sitting at home looking at some, whatever the case may be, stuck on Facebook or something. You cannot be smoking cigars, man. We're gonna dive into Matt here in a little bit. But man, Matt, what do you got to say for the people that came here to watch you?
Well, first of all, I'm honored that you'd have me, and no worries whatsoever, man. I mean, I was honored that you reached out. A lot of people reach out to me, man, and I try to do my very best to accommodate everybody. I'm not less than available for my brothers and sisters at the Leaf. Sometimes tragically, like the 800 unanswered text messages on my cell phone, certain things fall through the cracks, but I try to do my best. I just appreciate you hitting me up, because if people weren't calling me, it means I'd be out of business, right? So
yeah,
it's always very heartfelt and appreciated. So thank you.
Man, no problem. No problem.
What do I have to tell everyone? God, universally, I have to make a blanket statement. Can I swear on this show?
You can say whatever you want. You're Matt fucking Booth.
Well, one of my drill instructors a long time ago used to say, fuck them if they can't take a joke, and joke them if they can't take a fuck. And I think that if I was going to make a universal statement, it would have to be something along those lines, or maybe treat everyone as you wish to be treated. The golden rule. Observe the golden rule.
Absolutely.
We can get into some more granular shit later, but that's my two overarching principle-based statements are now complete.
You know, Matt, for everybody that's watching, everybody knows that you're a very interesting person. From following you for some time and being seeing the type of work you've been doing, you're very, very interesting. And I don't think a lot of people can really understand the creative mindset that you have, which makes you that different person. But we're going to dive into that, because that is something that I really want to get into. And obviously we got a whole bunch of things, man. A little bit about me. I am Jack the Cigar Enthusiast. Been in the cigar industry for 10 plus years. Operated a couple brick and mortars. And then now I'm opening my own here in Jacksonville, Florida. It's literally, the same kind of story. Where we came out, I was in the Navy for 10 years. I got out the Navy, and I said, let's do it. Let's do it. And this is where we've been going, and we've been running with it for a whole year. And I said all of that to say, your story is very similar in a sense that me and you both joined the military right out of high school. Tell us a little bit about that decision. What made you join the Marine Corps at the age of 19?
It's actually kind of interesting, because I was somehow elected to be my platoon counselor over the years, possibly because I have an ingrained understanding, at least at a very basic level of, I guess, the human brainwave, right? And I've leveraged that over the years to activate sales and build a brand, actually. But back then, guys used to talk to me, right? So one day I decided I was going to poll my platoon, and I went around to a lot of the guys. I probably talked to about 10 guys, and I said, hey, man, what possessed you to do this? Like, why did you join? And why did you join the infantry? And every single one of them had an almost uniform response to that question. They all said, you know what, man, I don't know. I just said, fuck it. And I think that that type of spirit and decision-making was present in all of us at the time, all for different reasons. but we all kind of came to that point in our life where, as an example, I was not living the most positive form of lifestyle, right? And I needed, at least I thought, self-imposed as it was, to hit the eject button on my life and rechart my path in a very aggressive fashion. And I had a couple friends that had joined, and I just decided it was time, man. So I signed up and came home and told my mom that I had joined, and they were surprised and excited. And then I mentioned, and I'm going to leave next Tuesday. And that was it. And I was gone.
And what's crazy is, are you from LA?
Yeah, originally, yeah.
What part of LA are you from?
South Bay.
South Bay?
Hawthorne and Gardena.
Okay.
I lived in Orange County for a while. And now we live in a town in Washington called Spokane, which is actually super cool.
Spokane, that's not too far from the Navy base up in Everest. Is it? Mm-hmm. Is it fairly
Everett.
Close?
Yeah. Well,
fairly.
Like 5 hours, something like that.
So same background. Like, I'm from Chicago. Academically was smart, but again, it was that part where you have to change your mind frame in order to elevate, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, it was going to the military. I feel like if I would have stayed in my same situation, it's probably the same as you. If you'd have stayed in your same situation, you wouldn't be here to talk to us about, room 101, room 101 gym, all the other, things, the jewelry, everything you have done that you can look back on your life and be like, well, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be here. My question is, what is the most important thing that you took away from your military career?
Well, I think hands down the most important thing that I took away from that was simply to do, right? Just get it done. Like, there's no one else that's going to do it for you. There's no one else that's going to hold your hand. You either do or you do not do. And that is it. There's no one that's going to, hoist you over the wall. I mean, every once in a while, you're going to have a friend that lends a helping hand, and likewise you in return. But the bottom line is that the world is open to the doers, right? So be a doer.
Absolutely. And I mean, obviously, our relationship when it comes to military, Marine stands for my ass rising Navy equipment. And y'all look at us as y'all taxi cabs. So I spent a lot of deployments with Marines, and some of my best friends are Marines. Now, we're going to switch it to something that's more geared to the cigar industry. But first, before we get there, we first have to understand Matt. Before Matt was Room 101 cigar guy, Matt developed this sense, not even a sense, this passion for jewelry. And I see today you're still doing those. You're making rings. You're making bracelets. That bracelet that you made not too long ago is freaking awesome. The big one, the Cuban link one, I believe it was.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Freaking awesome. What made you get into that field?
Why? I discovered my knack for design through my connection to the music business and to music in general. I was pursuing what I thought was a career in music, and it led me to discover a career in design. And so the initial brand concept really hasn't faltered tremendously from day one. I mean, obviously things materialize and morph into what the brand grows into, right? But the initial concept was very simple. It was that I was going to create a lifestyle-based brand that had a spine or a nucleus founded in jewelry design and bespoke made products in our studio made to order. And hopefully the hope was that one day we could expand to other categories of goods to make an all-encompassing, cohesive lifestyle collection. Premium cigars and alcohol were on that list. Mm-hmm. What's that?
No. So, sorry. And that's the jewelry compartment. I look at it because it really takes it takes some detail to understand one jewelry, and then on top of that, to make it in a detailed form that you make it. Where where do you get some of your ideas from? Is it just kind of natural? Is it, you know, are you looking to expand into the jewelry? You know, obviously making the jewelry part of it bigger, even now.
Well, I mean, we had our brand stocked in Nordstrom stores for about 5 years. You know, we've done all the that part of our business has grown over the years pleasantly and quietly. You know, it's a very saturated category, tragically, almost the way that boutique cigars are today, not as much when I started. So, you know, in order to skyline ourselves, we've always, you know, my initial character-based designs were influenced heavily by characters from Buddhist mythology and no theater, things that I saw while deployed in Japan, sculptural artwork, and then of course I also like very contemporary, very clean geometric shapes, patterns, things of that nature. I kind of have a knack for twisting those types of items onto wearable pieces of work, and those things. It's very interesting. You know, you could imagine something out of thin air, or I could be riding in an elevator somewhere and see the texture on the metal handle, and it makes me imagine a jewelry design. You know, and that's the way I've come up with several of our more modern styles.
Man, that's interesting. You know, obviously growing. You had a comment, and I don't want to misquote the comment. Somebody told you.
Is that responsible media?
Huh?
Responsible media? You don't want to misquote anything?
I don't want to misquote it.
I like that.
So somebody said, made a comment and said that you're not here. No, you're here to replace the legends, or the legends was you get what you know where I'm going with this comment?
Not exactly.
I'm gonna find that actual comment.
Okay, you find that.
Because there was something about that you're here to kind of replace the legends and stuff, something of that nature. And when I first read it, I said it's absolutely true, because you have in the cigar industry, you have your Montreals, you have your Padrones, you have your Fuentes, you have your Davidoff, you have these. And when you look at the boutique brands that came up around the time you came up, Tatuatu, Drew Estate, obviously Room 101, y'all are that class of cigars. Like you said, when you first started boutique cigars, it wasn't really saturated, but that class right there is really starting to take over, kind of, though not the legends, but it's starting to be put in the categories with the legends, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, you know, I don't think I would have ever used the language replace. You know, I don't think that's the correct attitude. I would never have said that. I mean, I would have never been able to do what I do without honoring the traditions of our culture and our craft, and really, you know, building on top of a foundation that was already firmly set by legends and longstanding members of our community, right? So, you know, one thing builds from another, you know, and from tradition was born Tatuaje, right? And my dear friend Pete was one of the front runners or originals, one of the originals in what was to become a new segment of our market that was referred to at the time as boutique cigars. And I think recently it's been called craft and cult and whatever you could imagine. We pride ourselves on being the industry's only salon brand, by the way, just so you know. We've been forever the only salon brand, so we're one of a kind, really. People say, "What does salon mean?" I say, "What does boutique mean?" So it's tomato, really, but it's you know, we just like to do our thing. But you know, and without Tatuaje, without Drew Estate, without work that John Huber performed while at CAO, and then again on his own with Crowned Heads, and so many other people, the Tony Brahanis and the Don Douglases, and all these people that are now less as active as they were before, or not. This all built a platform for us to begin to build this new representation of this art form. And in 2008, 2009, around that time, it was very interesting period of time. I refer to it as the golden age or golden era of boutique brands, right? Because every brand that was out there in that category was very unique to itself and to its owner. And the owners, the principals, were truly a cast of characters that were very unique individuals, and their brands were reflective of that. And I can't necessarily say it's exactly the same now. There are a lot more players in that space. I think that when we all started, we were probably viewed as an annoyance or some sort of short-term fad in our industry by a lot of the larger houses. And I think that, a couple years into that, they were all looking at each other across the boardroom table and wondering what they were going to do to recover the amount of market share that we had secured for ourselves. And they, over the years, of course, have made moves to level up with us and whatnot. But it was a very interesting time to be a part of, to authentically, people throw the word, movement around, and disruption. It's a very favored word by many a marketing director. But the truth of the matter is that we disrupted an industry globally as a group, as a unit, and really created a new segment of the market that did not exist before. And not everyone can say that they participated in something like that. And I'm very proud that I was able to play my role in that.
And I think absolutely, I do want to make a correction. Replace is a bad word. I didn't. It wasn't put like that.
No, I know what you were going for, but
but you're starting.
Respect where respect is due.
Absolutely. Because honestly, those brands are some of my favorites. And I mean, that's just being honest. I'm sure you have some of your favorites in that lineup as well. But what Room 101 and what that genre or that class did, that, like you said, it shook up the industry, because it was no longer just your traditional ones. Now you're branching off into something like that is now in 2020 is amazing. People are still asking, where is when can we get the original Room 101 brands back? And obviously we're going to go into that here in a little bit, but I mean, again, you created something that, I mean, is just not really seen. And right now in 2020, that is one of the hardest things to establish for anybody that's trying to come into the cigar industry, is how can they pivot themselves to be a Matt Booth, or be a Room 101, to be a Drew Estate. And I think the answer is really hard to give out. Obviously, it doesn't come overnight, and obviously it's just not gonna, poof, you're Matt Booth. But the thing about it is, you have so many people out here trying to start different brands, and when you have something established like Room 101 does, it's hard not to say that you're there. You're getting to that part where you're gonna be cemented into one of those legendary categories with those legends in the industry, and that's just my personal opinion. That's my opinion.
Thank you, man. We could only hope.
We can only hope, right? Hey, so I read your article. Obviously, you just had this big article in Cigar Journal. I think they took up a total of like 5 to 6 pages, and it was a very, very interesting read that covered your life, and covered Room 101. There's a comment that you mentioned in there that said in 2017 you decided that this was going to be the time when you announced your retirement, which is also your dissolution of the partnership with Davidoff, the Camacho entity of Davidoff. And you mentioned in there that you said that if you could do it, you say you wish you had not did it the way you did it. Well, let's say that you can press the rewind button, and instead of saying that you were retiring, if you could press the rewind button, what would the dissolution of that partnership and moving into the current partnership that you have be?
Well, I mean, I think that it's important to understand that an announcement of that nature was made simply because I wanted to try to best honor and care for the end of a relationship that I had had for over 8 years in our industry, and was someone that, although we were going our separate ways, was a partner nonetheless. And I wanted to be polite about that, and be a little caring as to how that messaging was delivered. I think that long term, it did a great disservice to my brand in the industry. Nothing that we haven't been able to recover from. But I would be, it's surprising with how many people that message stuck, no matter how many times Cigar Aficionado runs editorial on our brand, no matter how many times Cigar Aficionado has a vertical review of one of our products, or one of many other new media sources has me on or has one of our products reviewed, or how many stores in the country have our products on their shelves, that message stuck with a lot of people, right? So it's been kind of an interesting exercise, again, in marketing, and what types of messages stick in the little human mind hole, right? If I was going to do it over again, I probably just wouldn't say anything. To be honest with you, I just keep doing what I was doing. Honestly.
That's deep. And it's probably not deep to some folks, but it's deep to me, because in life, we have to make decisions, right? And within those decisions, we have to realize the consequences, whether positive or negative, to those decisions. And, you were in a great situation. I don't know the details of the situation. Don't get me saying, something or get it misconstrued. But it seems as if you was in like one of the best kind of situations. I mean, a lot of great cigars came from that partnership with the Camacho brand of Davidoff, and a lot of people, I mean, still to this day is like, man, where is those at? How can we get those? Are they going to make those? And, more of the story is to for you to say that, it kind of hits home on even on some stuff that the people watching, and then me and what I do in my business. Some things are best left, just leave it alone. Don't even say nothing, because at the end of the day, you have to deal with not everything, but certain things in the way that it is mentioned. Do you agree?
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And look, all of those products, if they have a proper place in our brand lineup, they'll see the light of day again. They're not gone forever by any stretch of the imagination.
You know what? That's one of my questions that we're gonna get into. And I mean, a lot of people, as we obviously market this virtual smoke deck segment with you, a lot of people are asking about the Chief Cool Arrow, the Johnny Tobacco Nut, the Drum. Do you have any timeline to try to reintroduce those under your new partnerships, or anything that you haven't worked to try to bring those back?
I mean, I'm working on them.
Okay.
But I don't like to commit to timelines, because things always get delayed or shifted or whatnot. But they're all in the works, man.
There you guys have it. It's all in the works. Matt said it himself. A lot of people has been asking about those, and everybody wanted me to ask that question. So kind of pressing the backwards button a little bit. What prompted you to, obviously we know what got you into the cigar business, but what made you actually move forward from the music lifestyle, the jewelry lifestyle, and actually go into the cigar mixture or the industry?
I mean, I think it's very simple. I had what I felt was a viable opportunity to pursue the addition of a premium cigar to our branded lineup and do it properly, and I took that opportunity.
So what was like the big deciding factor for that?
I had met several folks from the business, disconnected from each other, and several of them had taken an interest in our brand. They had seen what we had already built in terms of cult followership in another space, in another category. And I think that it was pretty clear that would port or transport over to premium tobacco and other categories as well. It was some of those initial conversations that really kind of solidified my belief and understanding that our brand could thrive and flourish as a boutique or alt brand in this category.
So me personally, I've smoked the original Payback. I've smoked the big Payback. I want to hear from your opinion. How do you think those compare to each other?
Oh, you're talking about the Connecticut Broadleaf Maduro version?
Yes.
I mean, it's apples and oranges, man. I mean, they're two different blends. In my opinion, the blend that we have on market now is far superior in every way, shape, and form, both in flavor and personality and construction and quality of materials. So my opinion is that the new one is better.
And honestly, somebody had asked me about that earlier this week, and I said, in reality, I think the big Payback is actually a bolder complex and has a lot more robust flavors in it than the original one. I mean, just a freaking well-rounded, very spicy cigar, but that's what you're gonna get out of your Connecticut Broadleaf wrappers is complexity and robust flavors and spicy and. But I thought overall, when you compare the two, like you said, it's apples and oranges. I don't think there is a comparison, and I do think that the partnership to make that one was definitely one of those that puts itself on a pedestal, and that's kind of why like I can't wait to see how you introduce those originals and what you come with next, because I already in my mind as a cigar guy. I kind of call myself aficionado sometimes. I can only imagine that over time, obviously, you notice things that you kind of miss or things that you wanted to hit harder. So now you're keeping those things in mind and like, hey, look, this is how we're gonna come off, and this is how more complex it's gonna be. So, what pushed you to actually go with your current partnerships with Caldwell? At this current moment?
I had worked with the Caldwell camp for about two years, and I actually now self-distribute out of Naples, Florida, in partnership with a company called La Polina, kind of share a facility there. And I just thought at the time that it was a good fit. Which it was. We're all dear friends and have similar goals and aspirations in the business, and it was a very fun period of time to work with such dear friends. And all the while, building, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it, this new realization of Room 101. So
Dev Bucket 2 is obviously it's a Pravada. It's part of that Pravada mix, right?
That's correct.
So what is the next major thing that you're working on to put out that's not part of the Pravada club?
Payback Connecticut will be landing in stores in about a month.
Okay.
And of course, our 11th anniversary will be right alongside that, if not prior. And those are going to be our two major releases for the end of the year.
Well, 11th anniversary, they already signed me up for. We're definitely getting that one.
Beautiful.
I can't wait for that stick. I think that's going to be a very, very, very good stick. It's going to be on somebody's top ratings. I said it first on the virtual smoke deck. It's going to happen. So obviously, 11th anniversary, Connecticut Payback. What's the difference between the Connecticut Payback? What did you actually focus on? Are we still going to get some pepper out of there, or is it going to be a lot more mellow? Because a lot of people don't know is Connecticut cigars can be kind of deceiving. It's no longer you can just look at the wrapper and just be like, okay, that's going to be a mellow cigar. It doesn't work like that anymore. Blends are changing. What can we expect out of that cigar?
It's spicy, but not overly spicy. It has robust personality and is something that a medium body smoker would be delighted with. And at the same time, somebody that likes a little bit more punch will not be disappointed by. Kind of walks a fine line between medium to medium plus body smoker, that the medium to medium plus body smoker will appreciate. And I think it's as universally palatable, I guess, as possible.
So obviously, shifting into another direction, you have the Room 101 gin.
That's correct.
It's very interesting because you don't really see gins being a main pairing with cigars. So what prompted you to make the gin? Obviously, you must like gin, clearly, right? That a fair observation.
So I enjoy gin. I enjoy premium gin. And I also felt at the time that we began to work on that project that gin was going to be the next spirit to have its day in the sun in terms of boutiquification, which I was clearly correct. If you go into, for example, say a Total Wine, and you look at their gin selection, and you look at the way the labels are stylized and the packaging is stylized, like there are a lot of non-traditional kind of fashion-forward boutique-y gins now. And I think that gin has traditionally been kind of like the anti-spirit for the cigar smoker, based on perception. And I wanted to break that perception. I wanted to create a cigar-friendly gin that was not so much driven by juniper and green notes, but driven by spice and burn, both from botanical mixture and the proof of the product, which we did. And many times, the cigar smoker will turn to the brown spirit as the appropriate pairing for their cigar. And I think it's because they seek that fire and that burn that comes traditionally from those, and there are many other characteristics in those products, but there is a fire and a burn in those products that you can also find in our gin. But it's driven by citrus and it's driven by proof.
Yeah. So personally, what do you prefer to smoke with out of your brand with your gin? What do you think?
Padron 64 anniversary.
Interesting. So out of your brand, what do you prefer to smoke with your gin?
I like the actually with the gin, the Farce Connecticut.
Farce
Connecticut has a
Connecticut.
great amount of spice, and it doesn't have a lot of base to it that interferes with the interpretation of the benefits of the gin, as well as in the participation with the palate. So I would go for Farce Connecticut.
Okay. That's good to know, because for everybody that's watching that wants to go ahead and grab the Room 101 gin, Matt Booth said it himself. You cannot go wrong with the Farce Connecticut. Definitely go try it out. Look into it. Daily Ash also says that the 10th anniversary pairs extremely well with your gin as well. I'm personally not a gin guy. I haven't tried it, so I'm not going to sit on here and just be like, yeah, I lied, and I tried it. It's excellent. No, I haven't. But as you talk about it, it makes me want to at least try it. I tell you about this time that I had gin, and it was not a good one. I was turned 21 years old. They decided that it was going to be shots time with gin, Seagram's at that. I took 2-3 shots on the dance floor and threw it all up immediately after that.
Sounds about right. And that's the thing too. Our gin. I love. When we used to perform live tastings, one of my favorite exercises was to find the gin haters in the room, and the I don't drink gins people, and let them try it. Just say, hey, try it. If you don't like it, I'll get you something different. Don't worry about that.
Right.
And there was not one instance where one of them said that they didn't like it. And they were surprised by how much they like it, because the engineering of the formula is so off base from what is, I guess, stereotypically considered to be traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much unlike the way we blend our cigars.
Yeah, absolutely. So, biggest thing that obviously I think a lot of people is focused on is obviously you told us what cigars is coming next. You told us everything that you have kind of going on. Can we expect any jewelry or merchandise obviously like hoodies and different things of that nature to be sold on your website. That way people can go buy and different things of that nature?
Of course. They're there right now. Like
Where?
a fine garment I'm wearing right now before you. They're available through Room 101 brand in the merch section.
Okay.
Check it out.
So, man, make sure y'all go and grab y'all a Room 101 hoodie. Make sure y'all grab some jewelry as well. Matt Booth is obviously cooking up some great things. And, you know, as far as the partnerships go, are you looking to kind of partner with another company in the future that we can expect? You know, obviously, you're obviously, I believe, working with AJ on some things, right?
Yeah, I mean, we continue to work with AJ's house to produce amazing blends. You know, I have several in the hopper with him. You know, there are going to be some things on the skyline for us in the near future.
Okay.
People should just always pay attention. They should make a practice of paying attention to us because you never know what's going to happen.
You never do.
Never know.
Freaking know. Never freaking know. And that's the biggest thing that I love. I think even like the pictures that you take, it captures the creativeness. Obviously that what kind of car was that you took your photo shoot in?
Oh, for the Tobacco Business magazine feature? That's my '54 Chevy.
Oh my God! Did you have you restored that one fully, or like?
Yeah, I mean it's custom. It's not really like a traditional restoration.
Uh-huh.
But it's a '54 Bel Air hardtop.
That '54, I was like, Jesus Christ, that's
pretty cool.
Fire! Can I drive it one day?
For sure. Come on over.
Hey, don't tell me what a good time. I come.
Anytime.
So, pandemic has really hit the market, hit the industry in ways that I don't think anybody was able to really capture. And I think how the industry is handling it now, they are really bouncing back in a way that is starting to pretty much get back to that sense of normalcy. What is some normal? What are you missing the most out of this pandemic? That you're used to doing, you've been doing for a while, and really can't wait to get back to?
You know, I got to be honest with you, man. The pandemic forced us or afforded us the opportunity to adapt our business practices across all categories in several ways. And we've implemented new practices that actually are not only effective for the time being, but will continue to be effective for us in the long term. So, you know, in terms of missing, I guess I miss the world. I miss the world a little bit. I traveled internationally quite a bit for our business and was able to kind of see several corners of the world on an annual basis, and I miss that. But more importantly, you know, I've been able to enjoy time at home with my family and continue to work and be as much, if not more effective than I was in the time before. You know, being on the road is something that takes not only from your person and your bandwidth, but, you know, it gobbles up your time. You know, you're out there to see people and to entertain. And while you're doing that, you can't do anything else. Yeah. So, you know, working from my command center, I'm actually able to better service my customers than I was before. And that's what we're realizing, is that we can actually be more effective and more responsible to our business as a whole by not being on the road every week, you know. And
I think now, like, even with this, I know a lot of cigar smokers miss the events, miss being able to shake your hand, miss being able to take your pictures. But I feel like the complexity, even like the Cigar Fest that Cigar International did, I think that was a pretty badass situation, because it showed, you know, what these events are actually like, you know, and how if we just learn to adapt and overcome, then there's still ways to hit the wickets on, you know, making sure that we're pushing everything out. And I think that's the biggest thing that I learned from the pandemic, and I'm sure that all the other folks have learned. Has production been affected for Room 101 by the pandemic?
Oh, of course. I mean, production's been affected for everyone by the pandemic. You know, there were factory closures and Production was backed up, but everyone is learning as they go, right? And like I said, taking steps to make sure that they're not that they're better braced for that type of hit in the future.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that we do here is we let the viewers come on and pretty much ask some questions. Al has a couple questions for you. I'm going to put it on the screen, and I'm obviously going to read. Shout out Al. He says, will Room 101 ever make a watch?
Maybe.
Will you re-release the Uncle Lee 3? Actually, the Uncle Lee, sorry.
Yes.
And will you ever do a collaboration with Protocol?
It is highly probable.
Highly probable. There you have it, Al. You got all your questions answered. So is the Lee is a 2021 release, or
I don't know yet.
2022?
I don't know.
Everybody wants to know that.
You know, some of these things are left up to the cigar gods. There's nothing I'm powerless.
So do you have an actual hand in the blend, or do you leave it up to the blend masters to kind of put it together for you?
No, of course, I'm highly involved in all stages of creation and production of our products.
So what's the favorite part of blending a cigar? What is your favorite part of it?
The interaction with the blending partner. That moment. It's very similar to songwriting. At least I feel. You know, it's you're each contributing to the process in a way that you're going to ultimately create something that neither one of you would make yourself all by your lonesome. It's a very mystical, magical moment, I think.
I have a question that just kind of came up. Dusty is asking a question. I don't have that question in front of me. Dusty, go ahead and comment on the actual thread so we can get Matt that question. Dusty was actually another one of the guys that was super stoked to have you on board for this segment, and I'm trying to pull up his question for you. Robert Glasper. Are you planning on introducing that?
Am I planning on introducing what?
It says Robert Glasper intro. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means, Dusty. Let us know what that means, because I'm not following you on that one. But anyway, so talk about the creative mindset that you have, right? How do you come up with these names? How do you come up with the names?
I just, unlike some people, I pay attention to the 17 different voices that are alive inside my mind at any given moment, and they feed me ideas all the time. Every day. I have more ideas than I will ever be able to execute in my lifetime.
So do these names of these cigars actually have a particular meaning to you?
Everything does.
What is your most...
Everything that is on one of our products has some level of significance.
So what is the most meaningful cigar that you probably take to the heart over any other one? That makes sense.
I suppose I would have to say the Uncle Lee. This was a tribute to my Uncle Lee that initially introduced me to cigar smoking. So, I think the Uncle Lee, if I had to choose, I would say that would probably be one of the most, if not the most meaningful cigar that we had released.
So getting away from these traditional questions, I'm getting tired of them, and I'm not liking them. What is your personal? Actually, what was your first cigar that you ever smoked?
The White Owl.
The White Owl. That's
it's a very
okay.
It's a very fine cigar.
What was your first premium cigar that you smoked?
The Padron 64.
1964. You know, you can never go wrong with a Padron. I tell you that. And like
Look,
you said,
I started out of the gate correctly, and it's still my favorite to this day.
I mean, that cigar, you know, I think their story is freaking amazing. But how they came about and had created that cigar, man, is, you know, he was literally trying to replicate something. Sold one cigar, didn't work, went back to the drawing board and redid it. And I think what's crazy is that cigar is still, you know, you see it on top of Cigar Aficionado every single year because it's just a great actual cigar. So Matt, I know we got you locked in for an hour, and I know you're a really busy man. One thing that we do here on the Virtual Smoke Deck is we go over something called gems. What we do, or we strive to do, is drop some gems for the fan base that's watching, right? What is one gem, whether it's about business, whether it's about cigars, whether it's about personal stuff, that you would like to share with these people to take away from this overall interview?
I mean, I think if there was one thing, you know, it can be applied. I mean, I definitely apply it on a daily basis and in my business universe. But I mean, I think the idea that perseverance pays. You know, it's if you don't stop, it will happen. It's never a question of if, only a question of when. And the only way that you can fail is if you give up.
Yep. You know, failure is something. Go ahead. Sorry. You
know, do you have the stones to see it through? Because that could be a 10-year haul. That could be a 15-year haul. You know, and do you really are you really ready to dig in and make it happen?
Yeah, and that's a fact. One last question before I let you go is Dusty asks, is there any new tobaccos that you're excited about using in your future blends?
You know, I'm always excited to try anything new, right? And to experiment and to continue to push myself outside my comfort zone. The next time I work in the factory, I'm sure that they'll have a myriad of different materials for us to tinker with. I've heard some rumblings of some Peruvian stuff coming in that's actually quite interesting. Have no experience with it, so I'm looking forward to getting more familiarized. And you know, I guess there's not one single thing. I think it's just that I always like to expand my horizons and learn. You know, I'm in a state of constant learning. I'll never be done. You know, so whatever I get my hands on that's new, different, exciting, I want all of it.
You know what, Matt? I think you're really a really somebody that somebody should look at, and when they look at you, I want them to always think not only perseverance, but regardless of anything that came your way, you never stopped. You know, you were a man that mastered several passions that got you to where you are now. And I think even though you do have your hands, I feel like every single one of those things are going to grow into something just astronomically big. And I think the biggest thing that allows you to do that is that is that gem that you just dropped, perseverance. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to, you know, all of a sudden just fall in your lap and one day you're just 100% successful. It does not work like that. With any type of business, with anything you're doing that requires you to put your passion and utilize your passion to again put you to where you are. It allows you to grow, you know. And I think one thing with you, I for sure can say this confidently, is that I know for a fact that you're always going to be willing to grow, which means that your business is always going to be willing to grow. Your fan base is going to always be willing to grow. Things around you is going to grow. Once you stop watering your flowers, they will die. That is simple freaking science and anatomy, or whatever the case may be. So Matt, man, we appreciate everything that you do for the industry. We appreciate you making these freaking phenomenal cigars. Keep pulling that creative mindness. Keep listening to those 17 voices that's in your head, because whatever they're telling you, or they're telling you something right. And I don't see it slowing down. We appreciate you in every aspect, and we cannot wait to see what is about to come. One last question before I let you go from Daily Ash. Ask Matt, what products does he use to care for his luscious bears?
I use the Oasis's beard ointments. Yes.
Oasis.
Yeah.
And you know, I tried.
That's the name of the gentleman that gives them to me. I really got
I tried to grow a beard.
Follow the Oasis report for all you would ever need in beard care.
The Oasis support. The Oasis. There you have it. Chris at Daily Ash, the Oasis. Well, thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight, Matt. We appreciate your time. As always, continue to be safe and healthy, my brother. And I see you on the flip side.
Yes, you will. Thanks for the time, man.
Man, this is what we do. You know, we're here to not only bring in great mindsets and great figures within the industry, but we're also trying to bring you something that is always constant. And every single virtual smoke deck that we do, the message stays constant. For anything that you're looking to start, anything you're looking to grow, you must have perseverance, you must have dedication, and you must have passion. Without those things, you will never make it to where it is that you're trying to go. When things get hard, you give up. It's going to give up on you. It does not work one or two ways. It just does not happen. It does not happen overnight. You have to constantly keep working. You have to constantly keep grinding. Also, look out. He said this year, they're releasing the 11th anniversary as well the Payback Connecticut. Those are two cigars you can count on, the Room 101 brand, and you can count on Dapper D Cigars having them. He also said that Uncle Lee will be coming out. He didn't say when, but he did say they're going to be coming out for everybody that's asking about those. The Dumrum, that is also coming out, he stated. So with that being said, man, y'all already know what it is. I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast. Congratulations to Arminius for winning the 500 member most accepted members of Dapper D Cigars group on Facebook. If you're not part of that group, go ahead and join that group today to join a brotherhood and sisterhood like no other. With that being said, man, I hope everybody enjoyed this segment. And again, I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast, and I'm gone. Oh, before we go, make sure you go to Dapper D Cigars on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe or follow your boy for all the updated content that Dapper D's has to offer. We have announced officially that we're opening January 2021, our brick and mortar located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Until then, go ahead and visit us at dapperDcigars.com for all your cigar needs and wants. I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast, and I'm gone.